Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2. Today, we are here with Fee, Amanda, and myself, Ashleigh, talking about top signs that we know we are healing. I'm very excited about this episode. I feel like we have all come up with some amazing signs, and I hope it just makes you realize that the little steps do go a long way. And so healing is all about just taking little steps every single day, and it's a lifelong journey. I want you to pay attention to the signs that you are healing because sometimes they're there, you just don't quite notice them. So let's talk about ours. I think I'm going to start with my favorite one, noticing the little positives in your life, in your day, as you go through your day, and just feeling naturally grateful. And that does take some effort because to feel that in that like grateful energy, you do kind of have to make an effort to point out those things that you can be grateful for. And so at first it does take an effort, but I feel like once you get into that grateful energy and you notice that you're healing, it's when you see that like you're naturally grateful for those things. You don't have to seek them out anymore. You just kind of notice them and you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm thankful for that."
I couldn't agree more. It makes me think about one of the points that I was so excited to share. We talked a little bit about this too outside of the podcast. Hello, everybody, by the way. One of my points today is one of my signs, I suppose, that you are healing is you will feel less inconvenienced by things that require more patience. For example, traffic or people who walk slowly on the sidewalk or the time it takes to cook a meal at home. A lot of times when you just don't have the energy to do something, and for a long time you haven't, you'll notice that you really are having some impact in your healing journey. If you feel yourself getting on your feet more often, you feel yourself saying, okay, I can do this, or I can get dinner, or I can have these 3 meals a day. Whenever you have more patience, I feel like it's going to have such an impact on your personal peace too. And I think that's where you'll notice that you feel better daily. People say, oh, well, what's a healing journey going to do for me physically, etc. It will create your own peace. Easing your own stress by creating your own peace can be a big sign and has been a big sign for me that I am truly doing something with this healing journey.
I love that. That's so true. Having patience is important. It is not easy. My first one and one of my favorites is I enjoy my alone time. Not only do I enjoy it now, but like it is necessary just to have some time to myself. Whereas I think just, when I was younger and maybe not really at peace, let's be real. I would fill up my time with whatever I could, I think, not consciously, but to just distract myself from maybe like what was going on. Yeah, just loving time by myself and alone and at home is honestly the best. Like, I really enjoy being home. I really do not go out. It's so bad. I really need to make a point to just meet up with my girlfriends and things like that, but I'm terrible at it unless it's just like a spur of the moment thing because I am just, yeah, I'm content.
I feel like it gets hard as an adult to make time for friends sometimes. And I can't even imagine how it is with kids on top of that. Just on top of a job and adulting and taking care of your home. I understand that completely, but I feel like that's what a good friend is when they recognize that. Like we are all just trying to get through life day by day. And when we have time for each other, it's great. We're here, we're present, and we enjoy it. And that's what matters. I think going back to what you said about recognizing that alone time is necessary and it's something that you enjoy. One of mine that's kind of related to that is just prioritizing self-care. And so, for Fee, that may be alone time. For me, I think self-care is something like physical self-care for me is spa. Like I will put a mask on or some eye gels or take a bath or just like rejuvenate myself by like calming my body basically. And I think related to that too is also another sign that you know you're healing is when you realize you pay attention to your energy and your emotions and using your emotions and your energy, you can also recognize when you need some of that self-care time, and pay attention to that and honor your body by giving your body that self-care.
Yes, Ashley, when you said that when you're honoring your body by giving yourself those acts of self-care, somebody put that on a gosh darn t-shirt. That is so true. It's so true. And when you're healing, taking that time, one of the points that I had written, one of the signs that I have is you are adding things to your life instead of subtracting things. So whenever it comes to healing, healing I feel like is and the healing journey is an umbrella term. Honestly, there's so many small things that fall under this umbrella that you're going to experience in this journey, you know? That's why it's the journey. So that being said, when you find yourself in, say, you're trying to improve what you're eating, when you find yourself, instead of saying, I need to take this out of my everyday diet, I need to take this out of my everyday meals, instead of that, you're saying, what healthy foods can I add to what I'm already eating? What healthy foods can I add to what I have now so that eventually I like these more and I can start moving away from what I'm used to and continue moving forward? That act of addition is such an act of self care, I feel, and challenging the natural urge, I feel like, to subtract. I feel like it's almost easy whenever you think of it that way. When you think, okay, if I just stop what I'm doing here, it's something I could do now, I could do it today. And then it's almost immediately gratifying instead of realizing you're going to have to add things to see what you truly enjoy to make it sustainable. Again, whether it's eating, whether it's journaling, it's not about, oh, I need to stop doing this in the morning so I can journal. It's about where in my morning can I add journaling? It's such a universally applicable sign, I feel like. So, again, that's one of the signs that I feel like, Ashley, you just reminded me of, and that I was excited to share was that if you find yourself adding things to your life and challenging the idea of taking things away from your life in order to be happy, then you're more than likely, again, on the right track with your healing journey.
I agree. That's really true. And for me, it's so much more positive and just feels better than the opposite, which is just, like constricting whatever it is that you're trying to improve, which can be tough. But kind of similar to like what either Ashley or Amanda said, I can't remember. But I feel like I can literally feel, and Amanda and I were talking about this the other day, I can feel the energy when I walk into a room. Like, and it's just wild. And it's not that it's not a good thing. It is a good thing. But it can also be frustrating, especially if you are, we'll say, workplace environment, just as like a prime example. You get to work and you show up and you can just like feel the air. I'm like, wow, so how is everyone? But it's nice because that I can kind of read the room, right? And but I can also realize that, a place can be kind of like heavy, like someone else's energy can be what it is, but I can also just not let someone's energy affect mine. And so that has been a really huge thing for me, especially we'll say in the workplace, but that's consistently all over with my children and everybody else. So for me, that was definitely a big thing because it's easy to let your energy be disrupted by someone else's, but
It makes me think about how people have mentioned that human beings are emotional sponges. So when you interact with other people, if they're feeling a certain type of way, it's like you're saying, super normal to pick up on that energy. But like, I think that's a really good point. I think it's super important to remember you can pick up on someone's energy without picking it up. So I think that moving forward, I'm going to practice that. I think I need to protect my energy that way.
And with my last couple, and I say that because they're kind of related. So one of my signs that I know I'm, on the right healing journey, on the right path, is I react differently to a situation. Or sometimes if I don't react differently, but in that moment, or maybe after a reflection, I recognize where I could have reacted differently and kind of make like a mental note, like, okay, next time that happens, like, here's how I would react that, would feel more aligned with who I want to be or who I am. So I think those are two really big ones that are hard to recognize, because most of the time when you're, you have a desire to react differently, I feel like it's in a tough situation, whether it's a confrontation with someone, a just conflict. Um, and sometimes those are just hard to reflect on because we don't want to believe that we have, toxic behaviors, but it's human, we do. And so that's just a huge part of your healing journey, is recognizing where you can be more aligned with yourself.
I 1000% agree. I am excited to share another sign that you are healing in 2023 is, like you said, you see parts of yourself that you are willing to improve. I was very excited to use that word willing, and I think you pretty much just emphasized that, Ashleigh, and what you were saying is it takes somebody who is already on their healing journey and somewhat healing to be willing to look at themselves. Because when you consider it, when you think of it, I'm sure each person watching or listening can think of one person in their life that's so unwilling to listen to new opinions, they honestly almost turn things into an argument every time they converse about something that somebody else has a differing view on, no matter what it may be, because they hold that opinion so strongly and they don't want to listen to new information. So the idea that you, as a listener, as a watcher, and as us here as co-hosts, the fact that we are all sitting here as people who are willing to find things in ourselves that we can improve, and willing to find personal opinions and biases that we can take away and change, like that is a huge part in growing and healing. And I also wanted to share one of my points was it I feel like when you're healing, a good sign is it's easier to practice self-discipline in the areas where you like to improve in, and I feel like it'll be easier more consistently. So let me break this down. Whenever you think of your skincare, when you're first starting out, as anybody knows, even with the gym, right, we're all thinking, oh, it's just getting there. Honestly, once I'm there, I can work out. It's the difficulty of getting up, getting dressed, knowing where you're going, and still getting your feet out the door. That is a lot of times difficult for the people getting into the gym. So once you have gotten to the point where you are mastering this consistency, I am telling you, that is a good sign that you are doing well in a healing journey. Whenever we think of things that get in our way when it comes to exercise, I can only speak from personal experience, but career shifts, or your mental for the day, right? You could have just had a long day, you could be working a ton. There are so many things that could be happening that could be taking away from the time for you to take care of yourself. When you do finally have that time, I want you to not only be grateful that you have the time to do it now, but to be proud of yourself for making that time a priority in taking care of yourself, because there's other things you could do. And here you are, there you are, journaling, doing your skincare, drinking water, going to the gym, going for a daily walk, sitting in the sunshine, whatever it may be, taking care of yourself. If you find it becoming easier, that's a big sign that you are doing something, you're doing something right. You're doing something right.
I love that. And it always feels so good because you should be proud. I think that's for me what it is. That I just always am like so proud of myself for able to be consistent. So some of my points were kind of similar, but I'm just going to read off the last few, and then my last one is my favorite. Kind of ties into what Amanda was saying. I'm able to respond differently or not at all to certain situations, and that just kind of means essentially, again, protecting my energy with the fact that I'm not going to go out of my way to start a conversation about this with somebody if I know that it is going to turn into an argument, because I don't want to argue. If it's someone I think can hold different points of view, who can, be a little more open-minded, and it's not going to be an argument, more just like a conversation, then that's different. But especially, like I said, in the workplace, like I don't want to argue with people, right? Like I'm just here to do my job and go home. So, and then I think being self-aware, which is like a very general theme, obviously, if you are someone who is recognizing that there's, maybe some things that you could work on, which obviously is not always easy to admit. There are definitely, again, be proud of yourself, because there's people who would rather just, you know, be oblivious to it or not get involved at all. So I think it's easy to feel like you're not doing enough when you start out doing something. But the fact that you are doing it at all, I think, is a good sign. So my last and my favorite is being able to realize that multiple realities can and do exist. To acknowledge maybe your personal opinion or your personal experience with something, but to also be able to acknowledge that just because somebody else has a different opinion or an experience than you, that doesn't mean that they're wrong. That multiple realities, my experience can be real, also their experience can be very real at the same time. So being able to realize that different ideas and things coexist, I think, was one of the biggest for me. Definitely a huge sign that you are healing and or growing. Love to see it.
We love to see it. Retweet. I suppose I'll share my very last sign for this episode before we dive into the gratitudes. I was so excited when I remembered this was actually the first one I was going to share, and then I ended up saving it for last just because how our conversation flowed. But life feels less forced, more light, and even a little bit exciting when you are healing. I want to preface healing is not all butterflies and rainbows. You have to do the inner work, which can bring out a lot of emotions, and it will bring out a lot of emotions, but you are doing this for a reason, and you will also notice these huge emotions are leading to you feeling more light throughout your day. And if you are genuinely healing, even in the smallest bit, you are going to go the next day or the next month, however long it may be, feeling maybe a little bit more excited. I mentioned earlier, practicing that self-discipline coming with ease whenever you are a bit further in a healing journey, or, it's a good sign you are healing. I think that could be tied right back into this. When you think of, like I had mentioned, skincare, you could wake up one morning, you could say, I do not want to do my skincare. And then a month later, after making an effort, doing your healing work, et cetera, you could wake up and say, I really want to just feel how my skin feels after I wash it this morning. I've been washing it every now and again. So that is a sign. It doesn't have to be you've been consistent for a super long time. It's just, I remember when I washed my face a day or two ago, maybe a week ago. I want to do that again. That is a sign that you are doing something correctly in this healing journey. As we dive into our gratitudes, actually, I want to throw out there that we are having a giveaway. We are giving away one of our Healing Our Homes self-reflection journals. So be sure to check out our Instagram for all of the details on how you can enter that giveaway. It ends February 28th. So, and if you've already entered, leave a comment letting us know. We're so excited for you guys to see what we create this year. And this is just an example and probably the first giveaway of a couple that we'll do throughout the year. So stay tuned for those. And with that, I will share my own gratitude. To be honest, this isn't the journal we're giving away, but I did purchase one of our most recent diaries created. It's just a blank diary, and it's so cute. This is my gratitude. And specifically because it's thicker than the other things we've created. And I just really like cover the back. It's hardcover. So I have been using this for my morning to-do lists, and I've been using this for my gratitude brain dumps. Gosh, try to say that like 3 times fast. I've been doing that in the morning, or if I forget, then I'll do it in the nighttime and I'll write my to-do list for the next day. It feels amazing. She does the damn thing. So that's what I am grateful for this episode.
I love that. I'm so excited to see more of the journals myself. I have only had the gratitude guide, but that's a good one too. So find them all on Amazon. My gratitude, I think, this episode or this, week or so has got to just be like my physical self, like my physical body. I'm just grateful for my body and the things that it can do, that it shows up to work every day, walks, a number of miles, and still goes home and plays with my dog and goes to the gym on my off days and walks Lola. And I'm just feeling really grateful for it, for being physically able to do those things, because that is something that I think we all don't appreciate enough.
Yeah, especially there's nothing like having some sort of setback or small injury or whatever to make you realize real quick, like, wow, I really wish I could work out right now, but I can't. Oh my God, Amanda.
No, but same.
I'm there's no reason for me to be this emotional, but whenever I was like 16, y'all, I broke my leg getting ready for a cage fight. And so anytime someone talks about like, I'm so grateful to be able to move, I literally had to do like 3 months of pre-surgical physical therapy and then 8 months of post-surgical physical therapy. So I just remember not being able to move not being able to do anything, like needing help to the bathroom at 16 years old. Oh, so I don't mean to cry, and it's a happy cry because you're right. Like, I just needed that. I didn't know I needed that, but that tiny gratitude of like, we can walk, I can go outside and feel the sunshine. It doesn't matter, if I have goals to be in a better home or apartment one day, I can feel that right now.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to have gotten so teared up. I wasn't expecting to either, but that really got to me.
I don't know. I love that resonated with you. I feel like it really is something that we take for granted. And just now, as I was continuing to say that, I thought of one of my best friends from back home, who's, she's a paraplegic, and so she's in a wheelchair. And that's what I was thinking of. Like, she inspires me all the time because she does go out and travel and adventure, and like she moved to Colorado by herself. She inspires me, and so I thought of her just now while I was like going through that. I was like, we take it for granted, that's for sure.
It's very easy to take it for granted, but just, yeah, that's a good reminder. I honestly am thankful for the same because I have been doing some home workouts and I did a leg workout yesterday at home, and I really had like I haven't really had any knee pain, which is amazing. So hopefully that means both of my quads are getting stronger, because that was apparently the issue, that my knees were trying to help me out with all my other muscles that are weaker that are around it. Shout out to physical therapy. Not as much physical therapy as Amanda, but and honestly, just me being grateful. Amanda and I were talking about just like energy shifts and just feeling the shift, manifesting things, but not just manifesting things. And we talk about it all the time. I feel like I'm always talking about it, but anyways, but believing it, really genuinely saying things out loud and being grateful for things and believing it, believing that the things that you want or the person that you want to be, you are already them. That job that you want to have, you already have it. It really is. It's just such a mood shift. For me, I'm a waitress, so we all know, if you've ever been a waitress or know a waitress, it can be amazing. There's definitely pros and there's cons, right? So shifts can be awesome, just like I guess any job, or they can really you can walk in and you can just feel the mood, or nothing like walking in and you're behind. That's my least favorite. I walk in and there's like, hey, you have a party of 15. I'm like, okay, what? Hold on, let me let me put my apron on, let me set this water down. But so I've just been really like manifesting for a great shift every time that I go to work. I've just been really thinking about it and believing it. Like, I'm going to go to work tonight. It's going to be a great night at work, no matter what happens, no matter who's there, no matter who I'm waiting on. Like, I'm not going to let anyone affect my mood today, basically, and just really protecting my peace. And it feels good. So, and I'm grateful for all of you. I can't believe that we hit, I'm pretty sure the last time I checked this morning, it was like 110 followers on Instagram. So that's awesome. And yeah, just for everybody for following along, and definitely don't forget to enter our giveaway. I need to get a blank journal or diary as well, because I need a new one anyway. So it's about that time.
It's about that time. I am also just wanting to say thank you to everyone listening, and be sure to comment where you guys are listening and tuning in from. Thanks again, everybody, for tuning in and for being here. Until next time, bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening.